Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Moms on the Left University. I'm Lindsay, and this is our special guest lecturer, Teddy, and Henry might also make an appearance here. This morning, we're going to be talking about Congress. So a quick refresher on Congress and the way it works. Remember, when we talk about Congress, we're referring to two groups, the Senate and the House of Representatives. So we're going to start this morning with a discussion on the House, which is the larger of the two bodies. The House has 435 members, each elected from a district. Remember, district lines are drawn, that's the way states are split up in the country. And because the House is so large, it has a lot more committees than the Senate does. And in the House, you have a lot more sort of specialized representation. So you might have members who are experts in law or medicine or science or whatever the case may be. To serve in the House, you need to be 25 years old and 7 years a citizen. Members of the House are up for re-election every 2 years, but there's no limit on how many times they can be re-elected. The leader of the House is the Speaker of the House, and that, of course, right now is Paul Ryan. Article 1 of the Constitution gives the House a few specific duties. Among these are the job of anytime a revenue bill is proposed in the United States, that's where it starts, is in the House. And then it's also the job of the House to bring impeachment charges against elected officials when it's determined that they are unable to do their jobs anymore. So that kind of brings us to the Senate. So how's the Senate different? In the Senate, senators are up for re-election every 6 years. They serve 6-year terms. But the way that the Senate works is elections are sort of staggered. So every 2 years, 1/3 of the seats in the Senate are up for re-election, if that makes sense. To serve in the Senate, you have to be 30 years old and 9 years a citizen. The head of the Senate actually kind of has two heads. There's the Vice President, who the Constitution names as the President of the Senate. Since the 1960s, the Vice President has kind of taken less of a day-to-day role in the Senate and kind of now only votes when it's a tie. The day-to-day leader of the Senate is the President pro tempore, and that right now is Orrin Hatch of Utah. Article 1 of the Senate, or of the Constitution, gives the Senate two specific powers. Among these are, it's the job of the Senate to give the President advice and consent when making treaties with foreign nations. And then when you impeach an elected official, it's the job of the Senate to actually, try the impeachment, have an impeachment hearing. So hopefully this has been a good refresher on the differences between the House and the Senate, and this hopefully will be useful for you for next week when we see you and discuss how a bill becomes a law. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we'll see you next week. Say bye!
Bye!